For those of you who have got really bored, here's a photo of some great legs on a bike. I used to think that games would save the world, but I'm recently discovered bicycles. So I think that maybe bicycles might have something to do with it too. But I do think that tweetability has become more important than accountability. Am I saying something cool enough that you can tweet in 140 characters, whilst leaving a small amount of characters at the end for the RT and my personal comment? That's what we need to do. That's a great presentation now. And blogs have become SEO. You can't just have an educational blog anymore. You've got to understand search engine optimization. You've got to use the right keywords. You've got to use AdSense. You've got to use Google Analytics. If you don't want to do that, just tweet epic photo of legs, because that's probably all we're going to get to. It's very difficult to move on. And we used to make tools for teachers, and there was nothing wrong with that. That's a photo at Macquarie. We've got loads of those things. They're awesome. I always love going to doing a lecture with pre-teachers. The first thing I have to do is scrape acetates off the lectern and put them in the bin. But they still exist, and they were made for teachers, and they did a job. They were good at communicating. They projected information in an era where you couldn't do it any other way. But now tools are made for everyone. The iPad's made for everyone. They're not just made for teachers. So we're trying to find what do we use and what don't we use and how do we do it. And I think this is where service learning comes in. I think we're in the service of kids. And I think we're in the service to each other. And I think this is one definition of it, a direct service to the self and others. And I think the internet has excelled at doing that. Whether you're into bicycles or World of Warcraft or guitars or knitting or whatever you're interested in, the internet makes that possible in ways that you could never do before. But unless we're in the human service of each other, we're back to buying stuff off Apple again, or Microsoft. Just put that. And in service learning, it has got these three qualities. It's about the improvement of communities. So if you're a digital photography buff, you'll join a community where you can get advice on improving what you're doing. You know, it's a rigorous process of reflection. If you write something on a Minecraft forum that's rubbish, a 9-year-old is going to tell you. It's great. You can discuss the pros and cons, and there doesn't have to be a right or a wrong answer, but there needs to be this rigorous process. And the process comes because the internet itself is a process. It makes you do things in a certain way, and we've become familiar with post, review, edit, change. Those things are quite normal. And I think they generate this sense of power, of me power, that I can do something, he can do something, or these kids can do something, or those at the back there being quiet can do something. And people often ask me, why do kids play Minecraft? What do they see in it? That. It gives me power. In a world where I have no power, I suddenly have a world I create that I can do anything I want in. It's amazing. And it looks like this.
I'll just say hi. Yes! Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa! You spawned an iceberg. Oh, they made a mushroom! Oh, they made a creeper? Cool. Max, where are you? They're pet wolves. And they made a mushroom.
You see that? 15 seconds. Max, where are you? Straight away, inside the technology, they're looking for humanity, they're looking for other people, and they want to share the experience. So as soon as kids log into Minecraft, and they do that, you can teach them anything you want, because they're listening, they're paying attention. And kids know exactly what to do with technology, because it opens doors to imagination. That's why he's playing DayZ, and we can't get him off it. Sorry, I promised that I wouldn't embarrass him. Should I do Gangnam Style now or later? Okay, when we attempt to close it off, we don't attempt to close it off. All we do is go, we're attempting to close it off. They know you can't close it off, so we might as well just give up. You know, it's like when I was doing IT in a school, you know, it was this, you must maintain the firewall, you must maintain the whitelist, make sure the kids are not on the wrong thing. We lost that war a long time before I was ever hired. And yet we spend hours and hours and days trying to do it. And kids, when they're using imagination, they have this emotional investment. And I think, you know, you've got this here, Plane's got this here. There's so many people in Plane that have made this whole thing happen. and they wouldn't do if it was just their job. You have to be emotionally invested in it. And you just have to investigate things imaginatively. You don't have to have the right answer or the wrong answer. You just got to get in there and do it. What things? Well, the extremes of experience and possibilities. This is imaginative education. What's the biggest? What's the worst? What's the fattest, the smallest, the big stinkiest? Things that kids like to do. Binary opposites, peace and war. This is stuff that's in project-based learning at the ground. It's in games at the ground level. It's in challenge-based learning at the ground level. You know, we're using heroic narratives. We're using irony, jokes, mythical stuff, philosophical stuff. All these things we can mix into it. And we can still meet the outcomes. We can gamify any subject you like. We can still meet the content, because the content's like the sediment at the bottom. We just have to encourage kids to dig some of it up when it's useful. And I think that working on a portfolio of fascination, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Minecraft, whether it's soccer or netball, or my daughter's recently got into hurdling. Anyone got a daughter into hurdling? Yeah. My backyard's like this big, hurdling. But if you get them into it and you let them do it, why can't they do that for an hour a week? Why can't a kid who likes apples spend an hour a week looking at apples? Oh, not in the curriculum, really. So if we look at imaginative education examples, romantic understanding, looking at the limits and extremes of what we can do to share an experience, compare the familiar with the possible. And we don't hear that in EdTech anymore. We used to, when we were building planes in the sky, we used to dream big. But now we're not comparing those things anymore. Now we're, oh, this is how you use Google Docs better. Really? What if we didn't use Google Docs at all? What if we just said, we're not going to use that? What else could we do? Go outside, maybe. Go on a bike ride. And I think that teachers don't need professional development anymore. So there you go, you can go home and tell everyone that. We're not going to do any more professional development. We protest. What you need is in-service time to be imaginative, to work with each other, to form small groups. And if that requires you going down to Coogee on the beach and taking a picnic, go and do that. Because that's going to be better. We don't need to listen to Yodas. But the cat in the hat is still cool, right? Yeah. Next point. Not everybody gets to participate. Personalization creates marginalization. I work at MCAS, Macquarie's accessibility services. I work with lots of people who are furry and lead people around who can't see, and deaf people, and people in wheelchairs, and people that are dyslexic, and people that otherwise don't get a fair go at university. So we're dealing with a civil rights issue. Last week I was talking about we're using a YouTube channel now, but we also have to do transcripts, and we have to do closed captioning. Well, that's a bit hard, isn't it? I don't want to do that. How many people have used the flipped classroom? How many people did a transcript and closed captioned it? One. Okay? So we're marginalized, whether we mean to or not. How many closed captions and transcripts are on Khan Academy? None. Yeah, he's a guru, if you can see and hear. Here's a project we did recently with some kids. We gave them this code. We didn't explain what it was. We just said, what's that? What do you imagine that is? And they sat down for about 10 minutes and they looked through it and they went, oh, it's some sort of cryptic code and you can touch it and you can feel it. And they went on the internet and they worked out what it was. It's called Braille. What's that all about? Didn't understand. So we gave them this thing and said, what does it all mean? So they worked it all out and 10 minutes later they decided it said this. So what did she learn? She learned that the letter W was missing because we cheated. She also learned that we were trying to show every letter in the alphabet and that you can represent information, not just in text, but in dots and stuff that you can touch and feel. And I think that's one of the things we've got to get to. We seem to think that information is represented by pictures and text, and that's a very, very big mistake. We like to do this. The head of department, you take an idea to your head of department, what does it want? What is it for? What does it do? Show me. I want to press it. I must understand all aspects of it, otherwise it's rubbish. And we try and work it out. Which one do you recognize, Harry? The portal gun. Yeah, who plays Portal? Woohoo. Okay. But we need to see objects that we recognize before we'll engage with it, which is kind of stupid. That's not much fun in that. What about teachers that see this as their daily view? This really worries me. We used to look at the backs of heads. You know when computers are around the edge of a classroom? We look at the back of heads. Now we look at faces, but we look at the back of computers. Hello, flipped classroom. Haven't really moved very far. And if this is all we're doing, again, we need to turn those screens around and find out what we can do that's different. Here's a digital backpack. This is Steve Wozniak's backpack. Who wants to learn what all those things are? No, I don't. I don't care what all those things are. And neither do most teachers, and neither do most kids. Give me the thing, and I'll work it out. But there seems to be this glorification of, I have 50 tabs open on 6 browsers right now. I have 20 devices. Really? It's like back to biking, you know. So how much does that weigh? How much lycra is on it? Is that carbon fiber? Yeah, trivia. You know, we need to use technology to test the limits of what might be. I don't know how many times I've had conversations about Minecraft. Oh, is it safe? What will kids learn? I don't know. That's not what we made Massively Minecraft. We made Massively Minecraft because we didn't know. And we thought we'd put kids in there and we'll ban teaching and we'll ban lessons and we'll figure out what works and what doesn't. And we did, and it was kind of awesome. Isn't it? Yes, they're all nodding down the front if you can't see. But we need to use it to press what can be. So where we try and figure out what things are before we use them, kids just trying to figure out what things are by using them. Don't you? You do. You're not going to talk, are you, Nick? Yeah, you met Nick yet? Anyone met Nick? He's going to talk soon. Nick's awesome.
Never gets old, huh? Nope. Kinda makes you wanna break into song? Yep.
I love the mountains.
I love the clear blue skies.
I love big bridges. I love when wolves run by.
I love the whole world.
And all explosive sounds.
Boom diada.
Boom diada, boom diada, boom diada.
I love the ocean.
I love real dirty things.
I love to go fast.
I love to plant saplings.
I love the whole world.
And all its craziness.
Boom diada, boom diada, boom diada, boom diada. I love some redstone.
I love my zombie friends.
I love hot lava.
I love how this game ends.
I love the whole world. It's such a brilliant place.
Boom diada, boom diada, boom diada, boom diada.
The reason to use Minecraft in schools and unblock it and come and do some training and figure out why you should not put levers and make kids build boxes of exact sizes and just let them be awesome is because it's awesome. And that alone is a reason to use it in a classroom. Things that are awesome should be allowed. End of. Who recognized the characters in there? Oh, 1, 2, 3. You? Yeah, you would. Who's watched TED Talks? There, you see? Now, the difference is, if you're these people, that was your TED Talks. Those characters are people that are quite famous for doing really awesome stuff in Minecraft. No one's heard of it. Let's do something more simple. Bikes again, you see everyone's biking. I'm going to move on quick here. Wow, Cadbury's are giving African people bicycles? My God. Who was predicting what the next thing was going to be? As soon as you saw the bottles on the water thing, you go, oh my God, I think that's going to be... You are using your imagination straight away. You engage the imagination and it becomes interesting. So you can use very simple technologies. I've used 20-sided dice for game-based learning and just pretended the whole classroom was a multiplayer environment with zombies. It was great. You don't need very high-tech things. You just need to be imaginative about how you use them and what we can do with them. This is one thing that I think we need to avoid doing. This is the one way that most people kill my projects and probably yours. You're talking about doing something kind of awesome, and you hear this. Well, when I was at insert school, we did whatever, and it was better or rubbish. This is a way of disciplining you. It's to try and put you off the scent. Stop doing that. Oh, when I was here, of course you were. You're an expert. That's why we're in this problem. I'm going to skip this one because it's a video. This is what I think it looks like. Let's get something a bit more concrete. I think, I'm known for not liking blooms very much because I really think that dead guys can't create new taxonomies. I think something looks like this. We need to look at media literacy, we need to focus. We need to accept that the content is this silt layer. We just need to dig it up a little bit. This is what kids do when they're playing Minecraft or playing anything else. You need to explain it, and explaining means, in the context of playing, getting online and talking about something with other people or going to Kudgy and having a picnic. Show data visually. Do things that help you explain it. That's what kids need, explaining it. That's why they're all on YouTube making Minecraft videos. It's all about explaining. They need to interact. The more difficult you make interaction, it just blows my mind. But 7-year-olds are not allowed to interact with 20-year-olds or 13-year-olds. It's just nuts. We do this all the time. Analyze, move. We need to move, different spaces. We need to get up. We need to go to each other's school. Why can't we have in-service days where you go to a different school? Would that hurt, really? As long as you sign in to make sure you're there and doing all that. Yeah. We need to do it. And then we don't get to learning unless we do all of these things. I've got loads of diagrams. Most of them are crap. But I draw diagrams because I'm trying to figure it out. I think we move from problems. So I present nicer diagrams to executives where I make them pretty. They still kill my projects. Look at this one. This is a great project. This is one of your projects.
Explain who the jumps here.
There's Nucky.
Everyone I saw it's cool. A dinosaur's shoot. Oh, I died.
Was that your first game?
Yep.
Was it pretty good?
I made the first game.
You did it? Show me.
Okay, I died and I don't know how to respawn.
I died and I don't know how to respawn. He just created his next project, right? I don't know how to respawn. My game didn't do that. I didn't think about that. But he immediately said, well, this is awesome. This is something I can do. And then a teacher said somewhere in the off camera somewhere, wow, can I have a look? And the kid's face lit up. And that was amazing. No teaching required. Just a really good tool. It's a free website you can use. You can go to Mac ICT at Macquarie. Support it because they're cutting funding there. Surprise! But then this happened too. Look what happens when he shows it to an older kid.
I think he's too big.
He's teaching. He's saying, I'm watching you play my game, but you're not playing it right. Use the guns! Use the guns! Yeah, because he spent time doing it. That was you.
Yeah, I didn't know how to play that game.
Yes.
Wait, what's that?
Nick comes around and teaches my kids all the time. So my final slide really is today, if you can't be yourself, be a unicorn, right? Because it's not going to make sense. Don't try and be an ed tech. Don't try and be a digital teacher. Just be a goddamn unicorn if you want to. My name is Dean Groom, and I'll be causing chaos for the next few years. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
And